Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, we journey beyond time, into an age when the world was still young and shaped by beings of immense power. This is not a tale of war or cruelty. It is a story of legacy, of transformation, and of the mysterious bond that flows between generations. Long before mortals spoke of Olympus, there were the Titans, guardians of rivers, mountains, and stars. They were vast, enduring, and as eternal as the earth itself. The Titans were not merely powerful, they were the foundation of existence, the steady ground upon which all life would rise. And yet, even the oldest stones cannot resist the current of time. Change was coming, as surely as dawn follows night. From this shifting horizon arose Zeus, hidden at birth, nurtured in secret, and destined to carry forward something extraordinary. His story is not only about triumph, it is about what flows within him, a legacy older than himself, an inheritance carved from the Titan's essence. So settle in, dear listener. Let the world around you fade as we step into the timeless tale of Zeus and the blood of Titans. Imagine, dear listener, a time before names, before calendars, before maps, before songs. The sky was young and the earth was whispering its first stories. There were no mortals, no temples, no cities. The world was vast, unshaped, a canvas of eternity. And across this canvas moved the Titans. The Titans were not just legends. They were the very fabric of reality. Oceanus was the endless river. Hyperion was the brilliance of light. Themis was balance itself. They did not rule over nature. They were nature. The mountains, the stars, the sea, they were the Titans' presence, alive in every breath of the world. Picture the horizon then. The sun rose with Helios, son of Hyperion. Night was drawn by Nyx, her cloak scattering dreams like sparks across the heavens. The winds were the Titans' breath. The rivers carried their laughter. Every cloud, every stone, every wave shimmered with their essence. At the heart of it all was Cronus. He was time itself, steady, unyielding, like the rhythm of a cosmic clock no one could silence. Under Cronus, the world seemed unchanging. Seasons turned, stars circled, life bloomed and faded, all in his endless order. Yet even in stillness, change stirred. Gaia, Mother of Earth, felt it deep within her roots. She knew no age could last forever. The Titans could not see it. They believed themselves eternal. Yet even mountains erode, rivers carve valleys, and stars eventually fade. The world of Titans was full of wonders. Forests touched the sky. Trees hummed with spirits. Oceans carried secrets in their foam. Nights were so clear, the heavens opened wide. Each star shone like a doorway into eternity. The world was grand, endless, yet unfinished. Within the Titans was the seed of change. Not curse, not punishment, just the law of existence. Every age must flow into the next. And so, the stage was being set. A child would rise, carrying both strength and responsibility. The child of tomorrow. That child was Zeus. But he had not yet come. The world waited. The stars leaned closer. Time itself held its breath. The blood of Titans was not about wounds. It was inheritance, the unseen current that flows through generations, carrying legacy forward. Before Zeus took his first breath, that current was waiting. Silent, powerful, ready to shape the future. Listen closer, dear friend. Hear Oceanus rushing around the world. Feel Hyperion's light warming the dawn. Watch the stars circle above. This was the world before Zeus, majestic, eternal, seemingly unchanging. And yet, the story was moving, like dawn creeping over dark horizons. The Titans did not know, but we see it now. The stage is ready. The river of legacy is flowing. Soon, it will find its heir. Soon, the world will know the name of Zeus. Close your eyes, dear listener. And imagine the stillness of a Titan night. The stars wheeled above, shining brightly, while the world below waited in silence. This was not an empty silence. It was the silence of waiting, heavy with a secret. In that calm, whispers began to stir, whispers of prophecy. Prophecy then was not written on scrolls or spoken by oracles. It lived in the rivers, in the wind, in the very heartbeat of the earth itself. The Titans, mighty as they were, could not silence it. For prophecy is older than gods and stronger than time itself. And so the whispers spread. They spoke of change. They spoke of a child not yet born, destined to shape a new order. Some Titans dismissed them as nothing but wind. Others trembled, sensing truth in the words. The air itself seemed to hold its breath. Cronus, Lord of Time, heard them too. At first, he ignored the whispers. But time always reveals what cannot be hidden. The more Cronus listened, the more restless he became. The whispers told of his own ending, not by war, but by inevitability. As day replaces night, so too would one of his children replace him. The prophecy was not cruel, it was balance itself. The blood of Titans was never meant to end with Cronus. It was meant to flow onward, to evolve into something new. Oceanus, the endless river, listened with patience. All waters must flow, he said, for a river that stops moving becomes a swamp. Hyperion, father of light, gazed at the horizon. The dawn always comes, he whispered. It matters not whether we welcome it. Themis, wise and steady, nodded knowingly. Justice is not the keeping of one age, she said. It is the balance between all ages. Gaia, mother of earth, felt it deep within her roots. She knew change was not to be feared. Every ending is also a beginning. Not all Titans welcomed the whispers. Some feared erasure. Yet prophecy does not erase, it transforms. Legacy flows forward, never backward. The blood of Titans would not vanish. It would live on in a child, carrying their strength, their memory, their essence. The story of Zeus began here, long before his birth. His name was already etched in the current of destiny. The stars leaned closer, eager to watch. The winds seemed to pause. The earth itself seemed to hum with expectation. The prophecy was not a song of despair. It was a song of renewal, of harmony not yet discovered, of balance waiting to unfold. Think of the world then as a great stage. The Titans had played their roles, but now a new actor was being called forward. The curtain had not risen yet, but the audience, the seas, the winds, the stars, was already holding its breath. Prophecy is not a chain that binds us. It is a compass pointing to possibility, guiding even the greatest powers. The whispers told of a child hidden for now, a child who would rise, carrying forward the current of Titan blood. Though the world had not yet heard his voice, his story had already begun. The whispers grew louder. The stars seemed brighter. The river of time flowed steadily on. And so the prophecy waited. And we, dear listener, wait with it. For soon the silence will break with the first cry of Zeus. Imagine the house of Cronus, heavy with prophecy. Whispers circled like unseen winds, reminding him that change was coming, whether he welcomed it or not. Cronus, Lord of Time, could not rest. His throne was vast. His rule stretched across the ages. Yet unease pressed upon his heart like a shadow. He remembered a story older than his reign, how he had once risen against his own father, Uranus. If he had replaced the sky, could not his own child replace him? In this cloud of doubt, Rhea, queen of the Titans, grew heavy with child. Her heart was full of love, but fear whispered in every corner of her spirit. Each time she gave birth, Cronus acted from fear. One by one, her children were taken: Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon, swallowed by time itself. Rhea's sorrow grew, but so did her resolve. She longed to see her children live, to hear their laughter, to feel the warmth of life in her arms. She knew prophecy was not meant to be feared, but fulfilled. The blood of Titans was meant to flow forward, not be locked away. When her next child was near, Rhea sought Gaia's guidance. The Earth Mother whispered, "Do not despair. This child must live. The river of destiny cannot be stopped." In secret, Rhea gave birth to her youngest son. His cry echoed in hidden caves, not in weakness, but as a herald of promise. This child was Zeus. To protect him, Rhea placed him in the care of nymphs and spirits. They carried him far from Cronus's eyes, to a cave on the island of Crete. Amalthea, gentle goat nymph, nurtured him with milk. The Curetes clashed their shields together, dancing, drowning out his cries so Cronus could not hear. Nature itself protected him. Birds sang above the cave. Rivers flowed nearby. The earth cradled him, as if aware of the destiny he carried. Zeus grew in secret. The cave was his cradle, the stars his guardians, the earth his teacher. From rivers, he learned resilience. From mountains, he learned strength. From the sky, he learned vastness. From silence, he learned patience. His childhood was hidden, but it was rich with lessons no throne could give. Meanwhile, Cronus believed himself safe. He thought prophecy silenced, his children gone. He never knew that one son lived, waiting to awaken. Pause now, dear listener. Imagine the cave in Crete. Cool air, the scent of stone, the soft breath of a child sleeping. Stars above, watching in silence. The blood of titans flowed in him, mingling strength with purpose. A quiet fire waited to burn. A river waited to surge. A destiny waited to rise. The birth of Zeus was not triumph, not thunder, not lightning. It was secret, small, and hidden, like the first spark of a flame beneath ash. Every flame begins with a spark. Every river begins with a drop. And every age begins with a single cry in the darkness of night. Thus the prophecy stirred, not in roars or storms, but in the gentle breath of a newborn, cradled in the arms of the earth itself. Let us linger here, listener. In this cave of silence, hope grows with each heartbeat. From here would rise Zeus, the dawn of a new age. Close your eyes, listener, and picture the cave in Crete. Hidden among mountains, wrapped in waves and winds, a child grew in secret. That child was Zeus. Though the cave was small, the world it held was vast. Dripping water, humming insects, rustling leaves. These became his first lullabies, teaching him to listen in silence. Amalthea, the gentle goat nymph, cared for him like her own. Her milk gave him strength. Her kindness gave him warmth. She taught him that nurture and power could live together. The Curetes danced around the cave, shields clashing in thunder. To Zeus, this was not noise but music, a song of safety, a rhythm of protection. From rivers, Zeus learned persistence. Water always finds a path, even through stone. From mountains, he learned patience, standing tall through storms and seasons. From the wind, he learned freedom. It carried no chains, moving as it wished. Nature itself became his teacher, shaping him long before destiny called his name. Though hidden, Zeus was never alone. Birds sang above his cave. Stars blinked like watchful eyes. Even the earth whispered, guiding him with silent stories. As seasons turned, his strength blossomed. He grew tall and quick. His laughter rang through valleys. His steps grew steady on rocky paths climbing toward the sky. At night, Zeus felt the prophecy close, like an echo in his chest. He did not yet understand, but he knew he was meant for more than hiding in shadows. His world was discovery. He marveled at fireflies, glowing like fallen stars. He listened to the sea's heartbeat, steady and endless, as if calling him to horizons. Amalthea told stories by starlight, tales of titans, the sky, and the sea. She avoided Cronus's name, but her silence carried warnings Zeus could feel even then. The Curetes gave him courage. They taught him to move with rhythm and strength, to stand with confidence, to trust in his own steps. So Zeus's childhood passed, not in golden halls, but in nature's care, hiding yet growing, learning patience, strength, kindness, and freedom under the earth's embrace. Cronus believed himself secure, blind to destiny's flow. He thought prophecy silenced, never knowing one son lived, hidden, waiting to awaken. Imagine the cave once more, listener. A boy sits at its mouth, gazing at endless sea and sky. Bright eyes, unbroken spirit, laughter free in the air. The world was shaping him, teaching strength without cruelty, courage without fear, wisdom without pride. Lessons for a leader, not just a ruler. His childhood was not about power seized, but seeds planted. Seeds of kindness, resilience, patience, freedom seeds that would grow into thunder and lightning. Far from Cronus's throne, the future king of gods was shaped by wonder, not conquest, by care, not war. Even the mightiest destinies begin small, in hidden caves, in whispered lessons, in the soft breath of a child becoming more than he knows. And in those quiet years, the boy in Crete was already becoming Zeus, the dawn of a new age, waiting in silence. The boy in Crete was no longer just a child. Seasons passed, and Zeus grew. His steps were strong, his eyes bright, his spirit restless, and destiny no longer slept. The cave had been his cradle, but the world beyond began to call. Each sunrise whispered of horizons unseen. Each star spoke of journeys waiting to unfold. He was not content with play alone. He wanted to know why he was hidden, why Amalthea's stories stopped at certain names, why the Curetes looked at him with pride and sorrow. One evening, beneath a sky full of stars, Zeus asked Amalthea, "Who am I meant to be?" She smiled gently and said, "Be yourself, child. But the world will one day ask for more." Those words stayed with him. To be himself, yet more. What could that mean? The question followed him through forests by day and walked beside him into dreams by night. Gaia, the ancient mother, spoke through whispers and signs. In the wind through trees, in the soft tremor of the earth, her message was always the same. Grow strong, grow wise, grow kind. Zeus listened. He began to see his life was not only about hiding, it was about preparing. Preparing for a day that had not yet come, but would arrive as surely as the dawn. The Curetes trained him with discipline. They taught him to move with precision, to strike with control, to defend with courage. Strength was balance, not brute force. Amalthea gave him compassion. Gaia gave him wisdom. The Curetes gave him courage. Nature gave him resilience. These threads began weaving the person he was meant to be. Meanwhile, Cronus sat on his throne, blind to destiny's flow. He believed silence meant victory. But silence is not defeat. Silence is waiting. Zeus became a youth impossible to ignore. His laughter rolled like thunder across valleys. His steps echoed with certainty. Even animals drew near, sensing his spirit. One night, staring out at the endless sea, he felt the truth stir deep inside. He was not born to hide forever. He was born to rise for himself and for the world. The stars above seemed to agree. They gleamed brighter, leaning closer, whispering softly, "Yes, the time will come." But destiny is patient. It never reveals all at once. For now, Zeus's task was to grow, to learn, to listen, to become not only powerful, but ready. He began to dream of freedom not only for himself, but for others. He dreamed of his brothers and sisters, though they were strangers. His blood still remembered them. These dreams ignited his purpose. He knew he was part of something greater. Not just a boy in hiding, but a bearer of legacy, a spark of balance, a flame of change. Pause with me, listener. Imagine Zeus at the cave's entrance. Tall, strong, eyes fixed on the horizon. Behind him, years of hiding. Ahead, the path of destiny. The boy was giving way to the leader. The hidden child was becoming the voice of prophecy. And though the world did not yet know, it was waiting for him. For even in silence, even in secrecy, destiny prepares its chosen. And Zeus, son of Titans, was awakening to his purpose. The world beyond Crete was shifting. Though Zeus had not yet left his hidden home, destiny was weaving ever closer around him. High upon his throne, Cronus ruled the heavens and the earth with fear. Yet beneath the silence, the old prophecy lingered like smoke after fire. The Titans remembered. The gods, in hiding, remembered. Even the stars seemed to carry the whisper of what was foretold. A child would rise, and fear would fall. Zeus did not yet know this, but he began to sense it. The earth hummed with possibilities. The winds brought tales. The sea carried an undercurrent of change. One night, Zeus dreamed of a vast sky split by lightning. He saw towering shadows, voices echoing like thunder. Above them all, he saw himself holding a staff of power. He woke with his heart racing. The dream clung to him like dew on morning grass. Amalthea looked at him softly, as if she knew. "The world speaks to you," she said. But what was the truth? Zeus asked again and again, and the answers came in riddles. The Curetes told him, "One day, you will face the storm." Gaia's voice echoed in his heart. "Strength without wisdom is ruin. Wisdom without courage is silence. Balance them, child, for your time will come." Zeus felt both wonder and fear. He was only one youth. Could he carry such a burden? Could he face Cronus, devourer of children, tyrant of the sky? He walked through forests, searching for answers. The tall trees gave silence. The flowing rivers murmured softly. All things find their course. In his heart, a seed of certainty began to grow. He was not ready yet, but he would be. The dreams, the whispers, the prophecy were not warnings. They were invitations. Cronus remained blind. He sat in his palace of stone and cloud, convinced his fear had secured his throne. Destiny, however, often grows in silence, unseen. The world outside was restless. Mortals prayed for balance. Gods in hiding yearned for freedom. Even the stars leaned closer, their light sharper, more urgent. Zeus could not see all of this, but he felt it. Every lesson, every dream, every story in Crete was shaping him into something greater. Listener, we now stand at a threshold. Zeus is no longer only the boy of caves and gentle care. He is becoming prophecy's answer, a spark destined to light the heavens. The winds whisper of change. The earth hums with it. And in the dreams of a youth, thunder is already forming. Zeus is listening. He is waiting. And soon, the world will too. As Zeus grew in Crete, a quiet fire grew within him. It was not the fire of destruction, but of awakening. He was young, yet his presence carried weight beyond his years. Every step he took echoed with confidence. His eyes shone with curiosity and wonder. The world itself seemed to lean closer, eager to see what he would become. Amalthea noticed. The Curetes noticed. Even the winds and trees seemed to notice. Zeus was not only hidden, he was being prepared. Preparation always has a purpose. Yet questions troubled him. Why had his father feared him? Why had his siblings been taken from him? Why did the stars whisper when he dreamed? One evening, Amalthea brought him to a high cliff. The sea stretched endlessly below, glowing gold in the sunset. She said, "The world is wide, Zeus, but so is your place in it." The words puzzled him, but they gave him strength. He began to realize he was not separate from the world, but woven into it. His life was part of the great story. The Curetes trained him patiently. They taught him to move with the rhythm of the earth, to listen before acting, to act with intention and with care. They often reminded him, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the strength to act, despite fear. Zeus carried those words into his heart. Gaia whispered in his dreams. Her voice was steady as the earth itself. She spoke of balance, of harmony, and of the day he would lead as well as fight. Zeus learned that true power was not in force alone. True power was knowing when to use it and when to hold it back. One night, he sat alone under the stars. They shimmered brighter, as if they recognized him. His chest pulsed with strength, like thunder waiting to be born. He whispered into the night, "If I am meant for more, let me not only be strong, Let me also be wise." The sea roared in answer. The wind carried his words to the heavens. The earth itself hummed in agreement, and Zeus felt less alone. From that night, a hidden fire burned brighter within him. Not yet the storm, not yet the thunder, but the steady flame of purpose and hope. Cronus remained blind on his throne. He trusted the silence of fear, never realizing silence often hides the loudest preparation. But others began to sense it. Gods in hiding felt a stirring. Mortals dreamed of balance. Even titans felt unease they could not explain. Zeus, unaware of their thoughts, carried on. Each day brought a lesson, each dream a reminder, each breath a step toward destiny. Picture him now, listener. A youth, tall and strong, his eyes alive with wonder and fire. Behind him, the safety of hiding. Ahead, the uncharted path of fate. The fire in Zeus was no longer hidden. It was alive, awake, and waiting. The world did not yet see it. Cronus did not yet fear it. But soon, all would feel it. For within Zeus, the hidden fire was growing. And one day, that fire would light the sky. The years passed, and Zeus grew not only in strength, but in awareness. His time in Crete was meant to be hidden, but secrets ripple outward like stones cast into water. Whispers traveled across the land, the stars above, the waves below. Even the rustle of leaves seemed to carry his name, not spoken aloud, but felt. A subtle energy hinting at change. Zeus noticed how the world responded to him. When he spoke, the air seemed to pause. When he walked, the ground felt steady, as if supporting his steps. One night, beneath a silver sky, he asked Amalthea, "Why do I feel the world watching me?" She gazed at him gently. "Because you are part of its story. The earth remembers, the sky remembers, and they know what is to come." Her words weighed on him, though their full meaning escaped him. The Curetes began to share fragments of prophecy. They spoke in riddles. "The one who is hidden shall rise. The one who carries the spark shall free what was bound." Rise, free, bound? When he asked, they smiled softly. "Patience, child. The river does not question the sea, it simply flows toward it," Gaia whispered in his dreams. Her voice spoke of harmony. She told him the old ways had broken balance. "Zeus," she said, "you are born to renew, to heal what has been wounded, to bring light where shadows linger." These words stayed with him. He pondered them in the quiet of dawn, while Amalthea grazed and the Curetes kept watch. At times, doubt rose in his chest. Why me? Why not another? Strength alone could not carry the burden of destiny. Yet whenever doubt pressed heavily, the world reassured him. A sudden breeze cooled his face. A star shone brighter. The earth hummed beneath his feet. It was as if the world refused to let him fall into despair. One evening, a wandering priestess came to Crete. Her eyes were clouded, but her voice rang clear. She bowed to Zeus. "You are the one foretold, the child of Titans who shall unbind what was chained. The sky has chosen you." A shiver ran through him. He wanted to deny it, but deep inside he knew her words carried truth. That night, Zeus lay awake beneath the stars. For the first time, he understood prophecy was not a cage, but a compass. It pointed not to what must be done, but to what was possible. And with possibility came choice. He whispered, "If this is my path, I will walk it. Not for myself, but for those who cannot. Not for power, but for balance." The wind stirred, carrying his promise across the sea. From that moment, Zeus accepted the whispers of prophecy, not as chains, but as a song guiding him forward. Cronus still ruled from his throne of fear, but the silence of prophecy was breaking. In the hidden hills of Crete, destiny had begun to awaken. The world was waiting, and Zeus was listening. The whispers of prophecy rippled across the world. Mortals dreamed of skies shimmering with strange light, and winds carrying voices they could not understand. The earth itself seemed to hum with expectation. In Crete, Zeus felt the shift most deeply. He was no longer a boy hidden in shadows. He was a youth with purpose, his presence undeniable. The Curetes sharpened his movements. Amalthea nurtured his spirit. Gaia filled his dreams with vision, but something greater stirred within him. He sensed his time in secrecy was ending. One evening, as the horizon glowed gold, Amalthea stood beside him. Her voice was gentle, but her words carried weight. The world does not wait forever, Zeus. It leans forward, listening for your step. Zeus nodded, though uncertainty flickered in his chest. How will I know the right moment? He asked. The moment will find you, Amalthea said. Like thunder follows lightning. You will not question it. You will rise. That night, Zeus dreamed again. The sky split with storms. Yet within the chaos, a path of light appeared. Gaia's voice whispered, "The time is near. You are the storm and the calm within it." He awoke with her, words heavy in his heart. He no longer felt like a child waiting for fate. He felt like a flame waiting for air. The Curetes noticed the change. They trained him with greater intensity. They tested his strength, his patience, and his ability to lead. A leader does not command, they said. A leader carries the weight of others without faltering. Zeus listened, absorbed, and grew. But beyond Crete, Cronus ruled in uneasy silence. The Titan king dismissed the whispers, but unease grew in his heart. He dreamed of a figure rising against him, unclear, yet feared. Across the world, those hidden by his cruelty felt hope stirring. Gods unborn, swallowed or waiting, sensed a tremor of change. Zeus, unaware of how far his presence reached, kept training. The hidden fire within him blazed higher. His question sharpened. His vision grew clearer. His steps stronger. One night, the sky split with lightning. The people of Crete saw only a storm, but Zeus felt the thunder in the heavens answer the thunder in his chest. He whispered into the storm, "I am not afraid. I am ready." The winds rose in reply. The trees bent, the sea roared. The stars flickered like eyes above. Zeus stood tall, no longer hidden, no longer uncertain. The gathering storm had begun. It was not yet the war of gods and titans, but it was the first step, the spark before the blaze. Cronus sat high upon his throne, blind to the change. But storms do not ask permission to arrive. They rise, they gather, and they break. And Zeus was the storm the world had been waiting for. The storm within Zeus kept growing, but so did the silence of his questions. He heard whispers of prophecy, fragments of promise, but one mystery pressed heavily: the Titans. Who were they truly? Mighty, yet broken. Feared, yet hidden away. The Curetes spoke only in riddles. Amalthea avoided their name. Gaia's whispers circled back to one truth. Asterisk. The blood of Titans runs in you. Asterisk. This unsettled him, for though raised with kindness, his lineage carried shadow. One sleepless night, Zeus climbed the cliffs above Crete. The sea spread endlessly, reflecting stars like shards of silver. "If their blood is in me," he whispered, "what does that make me?" The wind shifted. A voice rose, timeless and steady. It was Gaia. "You are their child," she said. "But you are not their chains." She revealed visions of Titans as they once were, beings of stone and flame, their voices thunder, their steps mountains. They shaped rivers, raised peaks, pulled light from the void. They were creators before they were destroyers. But hunger for dominance twisted their purpose. Cronus, strongest of all, was meant to guard time. Instead, he feared it. He feared change. He feared his own children. Fear consumed him until protection became cruelty. The Titans lost their harmony, preserving only themselves. Zeus felt Gaia's words strike deep within. His father's tyranny was not only control, it was fear. "And me?" Zeus asked. "What am I meant to be?" "You are the bridge," Gaia said, "between what was and what must be. You are strength, but also renewal. A promise that power can serve balance." Her words comforted him, yet filled him with responsibility. Prophecy was not about replacing his father. It was about restoring what had been lost. Zeus carried this truth in training, in walking, in dreaming. He saw the Titans not only as fallen, but once great. The stars pulsed brighter at night, whispering, "Asterisk. Do not repeat the past. Asterisk. Cronus still ruled, but cracks began to form. The swallowed gods stirred faintly in his shadow. Their essence pulsed within him, waiting to be freed. Zeus felt them like muted chords of music, vibrating in silence. They called to him, not desperate, but hopeful. His journey was not only for himself, it was for them. For balance denied, for harmony broken. Zeus stood on the cliffs once more. I will not be defined by blood, he declared. I will be defined by what I choose. The wind howled, the sea roared, the stars burned brighter, and deep in the earth, the Titans stirred in restless sleep. Their echoes rolled across the world, a warning and a call. The world was waiting, and the storm within Zeus was ready to answer. The storm within Zeus had found its rhythm, but storms never rise alone. Whispers of him began to travel, soft at first, then stronger, weaving across the world. In hidden places, those who suffered under Cronus stirred with hope. Farmers prayed for kinder seasons. Sailors begged for calmer seas. Mothers wished their children could live without fear. They did not know his name, yet they felt his presence. It was as if the air itself had changed, carrying promise in every breath. But it was not only mortals who sensed the shift. Deep within Cronus, the swallowed gods stirred faintly, restless in silence. They could not see Zeus, nor touch him, but they felt his rising strength. It was like a distant melody reaching through walls of stone, and for the first time in ages, they felt hope. Hera's essence burned with quiet dignity, Demeter's with steady patience, Hades with shadowed resolve, Poseidon's with restless tides. Bound though they were, they listened for the one who might set them free. Meanwhile, in Crete, Zeus continued to grow. He learned not only to wield strength, but to temper it. Power shouted loudly, but wisdom spoke softly and lasted longer. The Curetes tested him not only with weapons, but with questions. What does it mean to rule? They asked. To protect the balance of all, Zeus replied. And what does it mean to lead? To carry weight without seeking glory, he answered. And what does it mean to fail? To rise again with greater purpose, he said firmly. These were not the words of a boy, but of one destined to stand among gods. Yet Gaia's voice returned in dreams. Strength without harmony is emptiness. Power without balance is ruin. Remember, Zeus, the Titans fell not from weakness, but from forgetting why they were strong. These words echoed each time he trained, each time he stood upon the cliffs. Still, question remained. Could he truly face Cronus, the Titan who swallowed his own children? Could he ignite courage in others, or would fear silence them? The answers did not come quickly, but something was stirring, pulling voices together into a single song. The mortals who prayed, the gods who waited, the earth itself they were weaving into destiny. One evening, as stars flickered above, Zeus stood upon the cliffs. The wind pressed against him, wild and strong, yet carrying whispers. It was not Gaia, nor Amalthea, nor the Curetes. It was something else, something greater. It was the voices of countless lives, rising like a chorus. Rise, they seemed to say. Rise, for we cannot rise without you. Zeus closed his eyes and listened. He understood he was not walking alone. Every step was echoed by thousands unseen. Every breath was shared with those waiting for change. He whispered into the night, I hear you. I carry you. I will not let silence rule forever. Though no one stood beside him, he did not feel alone. The gathering of voices had begun. The night had been long, filled with voices rising like a tide. Zeus listened, his heart brimming with hope and the weight of destiny. But as dawn broke, he knew listening was no longer enough. The time to act was near. The world seemed to know it too. The sea roared louder against the rocks. The wind pressed harder against the hills. The stars lingered before giving way to the Sunday. Nature bent toward him, urging him forward. Amalthea watched in silence, her eyes proud yet sorrowful. She knew children cannot remain in shelter forever. Your path is opening, she said softly. When you walk it, you may not return. Her words pierced him, for he was still bound by love. The cave that hid him, the fields where he left these, were pieces of his soul. Leaving them meant leaving part of himself. But destiny rarely allows comfort. It demands sacrifice, and Zeus felt it deep within. The Curetes sensed the change as well. They approached not with drills, but with ritual. One by one, they struck their shields. The rhythm was steady and unbroken. "The world will test you," they said. "Every beat of your heart is answered by countless others. You do not carry this alone." Their words steeled him, but revealed the weight ahead. For every hope, there was also fear. For every prayer, a doubt. He was not only rising against Cronus, he was rising to meet the expectations of a trembling world. Beneath the dawn, Zeus felt the true weight of leadership. It was not wielding power, but carrying dreams of many. He thought of mortals, living under Titan's shadows. He thought of the swallowed gods, waiting in darkness. He thought of the earth, holding its breath for renewal. And he thought of Cronus, his father, the one who ruled with fear, swallowing hope before it could live. The thought no longer frightened him. It steadied him. Gaia's voice returned, soft but unyielding. "The dawn rises not only for you, but through you. Do not fear the burden. It makes the light worth carrying." He closed his eyes and let her words sink in. He remembered the visions of Titans, their rise and fall. He remembered the whispers of mortals and the chorus of gods. He remembered the song of the earth, waiting for renewal. He was not a child of shadows anymore. He was the storm breaking through the sky. When he opened his eyes, the horizon glowed brighter. The sun rose, and with it, so did he. Amalthea placed her hand on his shoulder. "Go," she said. "The world waits for you." Zeus nodded, his voice calm but resolute. "I will not walk away. I will carry it for them. For all." The Curetes struck their shields again. The rhythm echoed like thunder. As Zeus stepped forward into the dawn, the air bowed before him. It was no longer the beginning of a boy's journey. It was the rise of a god. The storm was ready, and so was he.